Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Putri Zaskia THAMRIN from class A, and then in this good opportunity I would like to explain about resume structuralism. First, I would like to explain about what is structuralism. Structuralism is a way of appraising text and practice derived from the theoretical work of the Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. Main exponent is French, Alois Althusser in Maristic's theory, Roland Barthes in literature and cultural study, Michael Foucault in philosophy and history, Jacques Lacan in psychoanalysis, Claude Lévi-Strauss in anthropology, and Pierre-Mathieu Revere in literary theory. Their jobs are often very different and sometimes very difficult. What unity test the writer is Saussure influence and the use of certain vocabulary drawn from his work. Okay, in this part I would like to explain about Ferdinand Saussure. Saussure is a relational theory of language, meaning it produces not through one-to-one relation to thing in the word, but by establishing difference. For example, mother has meaning in relation to father, doctor, and son. Saussure gives the example of train system. The 12:15 from Bochum to Bremen, for instance, run every day at the same time. To each of these trains, we assign the same identity. However, we know that the locomotive to carry the stuff are unlikely to be the same each day. Okay, the next slide, I would like to explain about Claude Lévi-Strauss, Will Reich, and the American Western. Claude Lévi-Strauss uses Saussure to help him discover the subcase foundation of the so-called primitive culture of society. He analyzes cooking, manners, dress code, aesthetic activity, and other cultural and social form practice as analogous to the language system. Each in a different way is fashion communication form of expression. Lévi-Strauss claimed that all myths have a similar structure. Moreover, he also claims out of this by no means his primary focus. The all myths have a similar social cultural function within society. That is, the purpose of myth is to make the world escapable, to magically resolve its problems and contradiction. Okay, the next slide I would like to explain about Roland Barthes on mythology. Roland Barthes' early work on popular culture is concerned with the process of signification, the message by which meaning are produced and put into circulation. Mythology is a collection of essays on French popular culture. In the discourse, among many things, wrestling, soap powder and detergent, toys, thick and cheap, tourism, and popular attitude toward science. His guiding principle is always to interrogate the false obvious, to make explicit what too often remain implicit to the text and a practice popular culture. His purpose is political. His start is what he called the Borgian's norm. As he stated in the preface to the edition, I refuse saying nature and history confess at every turn, and I wanted to track down, in the decorative display of what goes without saying, the ideology abuse which, in my view, is hidden there. The next slide is post-structuralism. Post-structuralism rejects the idea of an underlying structure in which meaning can be safe and secure. Meaning is always in progress. What do we call the meaning of a text only pauses for a moment in continuous stream of interpretation, so sure as we have not stated the language consists of the relationship between the signifier. The significant and the thing. Post-structuralism theory suggests that the situation is more complex than this. The signifier does not produce signifier, they produce more signifiers. It means that the result is very unstable thing. The text is a tissue of question drawn from the immeasurable contour of culture. Only a reader can bring a temporary unity to text. The next slide is Jacques Derrida. Jacques Derrida, post-structuralism is almost identical to the work of Jacques Derrida. Seeing as we have not is for Saussure to make meaningful by his location is system difference. Derrida adds to the idea that meaning is also always different, never fully present, always present and absent. For example, if we track the meaning of a word through a dictionary, we encounter a relentless deferment of meaning. If we look up the signifier letter in the Collins English Pocket Dictionary, we found there is 5 possible markers: written or printed message, alphabetical character, strict meaning of approval, to be practical, and to write or mark letters on thing. If we then search for one of these, marker message, we find that two markers generate for more significant communication from one person of group to another and implies meaning, as in a work of art, a religious or political belief that one is trying to communicate with another person and to understanding. The next slide is discourse and power for Michel Foucault. One of Michel Foucault's main concerns is the relationship between knowledge and power and how this relationship operates in discourse and discourse formation. Foucault's concept of discourse is similar to Althusser's notion of problem, that is about organized body of knowledge with rules and realization to govern certain practice, way of speaking, thinking, and acting. For example, it's a discourse. It enables me to speak. It constrains what I can say. It constitutes me as speaking subject. Its situation I produce my subjective. I know myself in language. I think in language. I talk to myself in language, like that. And this is why discourse generates the subject position. We are invited to a couple language community, film student, netball player. Therefore, discourse is social the practice in which we are involved. The next slide is the panoptic machine. The panoptician is type of prison building designer by Jeremy Bentham and C. Potter. At the center of the building is a tower that allows the governor to observe all the prisoners in the surrounding hall without the prisoner knowing whether or not they are in fact being observed. Location design may also be used in any sort of establishment in which persons of any description are to be kept under inspection. The increasing number of celebrity surveillance magazines such as Raphael, Closer, Head and New, where in similar way, celebrities are monitoring and scrutinized, especially in terms of body size and sexual or social behavior.